One of the questions I ask myself on occasion is, do the people at watch brands watch us YouTubers' videos? The answer to that must be a yes, because the people at Longines reached out to me and asked if I'd like to have a chat, would like to see everything they're launching this year, and if I'd like to borrow some watches for review. I said yes. You bet your backside I said yes. So here we are, me with the brand new 2026 Longines Hydroconquest. Now, without numerals on the dial. Let's dive in. The 2026 lineup of mechanical Hydroconquests now comes in two sizes, 39mm and 42, which before was 43 and 41. Inside both models is the L888 ETA Longines exclusive movement. It beats at 3.5 Hz. It's not COSC certified. It has 72 hours of power reserve. It's dependable, and more importantly, it's an easily serviceable movement. The 39mm model has 20mm lugs, is 11.7mm thick, and has a lug-to-lug of 48.1mm. The 42mm model is 21mm lugs, same height, and a 51.2mm lug-to-lug. All watches have 300 meters of water resistance, steel case, and bracelet plus a ceramic bezel. You get two options of bracelet, either a 3-link steel bracelet or a mesh bracelet. Both bracelets have an adjustment mechanism. There are 6 different options to choose from. Your classic black dial, black bezel, blue on blue, green on green, and also a gray bezel with a black dial model. A black bezel and a light blue dial, and my personal favorite, the blue bezel with a black dial. They're priced just below 2,000 Swiss francs. I'll put the USD numbers in as soon as I know them. I don't have them right now. Now, I can't go on. I have to admit it. I'm a shill for the first time ever. Did I receive payment to review these watches? No, I didn't. Do I get to keep these watches? No, I don't. Did Longines have any editorial influence over this video? No, they didn't. But in the box where they sent me the watches, they also sent me Longines branded chocolates, and I'm keeping them. I won't be returning them. I know if you feel I'm compromised, I understand, but I just couldn't resist. These are really quite decent chocolates. They're sticking between the teeth, but I mean, they're good. You quite like them. They're not Ferrero Rocher, but they're like pretty decent chocolates. They really do stick in the teeth. If you're new here and you can accept that I have blatantly eaten these shill Longines chocolates, then please click the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Click now. Hugely appreciated. Thanks. Now, as for the watches, I'm calling it. If there is a difference in between the case and bracelet finishing of a Rolex and a Longines, it's minimal. This doesn't apply just to Longines though. I know so many brands by now that cost somewhere between $2,000, $4,000, where it's ridiculously hard to tell where you're getting more on a case and bracelet compared to an Omega or Rolex. So let's just start with the clasp and work our way up from there. Do I get a solid easy adjust? Yes. The clasp opener is solid. So is the easy adjust mechanism. Compared to a more high-end bracelet, there might be a tiny little bit more play wherever there are spring bars or connectors or, springs, but it's minimal. And if you stick with the Rolex comparison, Rolex has a little bit more resistance to all the sort of moving components. And like Ace Ventura would say, Rolex fits like a glove, but in a sort of very bespoke, tailored to your specific hand kind of way. The Longines fits more like a really well-fitting, but not bespoke, standard-sized glove. And this is the case all the way throughout. You have to spend some time nitpicking to notice the differences. They are there, but it's minimal. And that's a testament to how good production of cases, bracelets, bezels, and most externals are today at this price point. The 3-link bracelet has polished flanks and screwed links. It tapers nicely, and the slightly broader center links push the watch a little bit more towards the tool end of the spectrum. The case is a satinized brushed affair. Again, it's a tool watch first, desk diver second. The mesh bracelet is brilliant. Unlike Omega, they've actually made a clasp that doesn't add 3 feet of height to the underside of your wrist. It's also got some taper to it, and honestly, I think I have to reassess my opinion on mesh bracelets. This one straddles the divide between tool watch on the one hand and desk diver on the other really, really well. The bezel knurling is on the chunkier side, which also sort of adds to the tool watch feel. The bezel insert is the first thing that gives it a bit of a desk diver cred because of the ceramic bezel. The colors are vivid. The numerals on the bezel are set as indentations, and you actually feel the height difference, and it feels premium. Some dials are sunray, others are monotone. All of them have a gloss to them. The applied markers also add a bit of shine and pop to the watch. The hands are a stick minutes hand, a snowflake type of hour hand, and a small but lollipop seconds hand. As for the fit, I prefer the 42mm on my wrist. Both sit flat on my wrist. It's a low profile diver, so those of you that have shirts and cuffs are going to be very happy with it. What do I like? The package. So the entirety of the watch. And I've said for a while that Longines are a value leader, and I do think that these watches illustrate that really well. Build quality is of a very high standard. Feature set is exactly what I expect, and for this kind of watch, the balance they strike between desk driver and tool watch is spot on. It's not too flashy to be a casual watch, but it's also not so toolish that it would feel out of place in more sort of, let's call it formal attire. Switching from 43 and 41mm to 42 and 39 is also a plus. The new glossier dials, definitely a plus. My personal favorite is the blue bezel black dial model. It's kind of similar to the new Planet Ocean blue and black model. It's got the same colorway and it has the same kind of pop without going overboard. Also, the numerals are gone. I vastly prefer this dial layout over previous versions. I swear they must have spoken to ID Guy because I think this is the exact design layout he suggested. Dislikes? The bracelet does not have an easy exchange mechanism like the Spirit Zulu time. Longines tell me that customers for this watch typically don't change straps, so the feature has been removed. As an enthusiast, it's a minor inconvenience that would have been important to me. An on-the-fly quick adjust would also have been nice, so one where you don't actually have to take the bracelet off, but it's a minor inconvenience. I wish they could offer a 4 Hz movement. I do notice the difference in sweep, and I also wish they used the L888.4 movement, which is the COSC certified version of this movement. As for the price, they've gotten a little bit of a bump up compared to the old model. For a brand that has retail outlets and boutiques and retailers that also need to make a profit, the price is where I expect it to be. But the reality is, in this space, there are a lot of direct-to-consumer brands that will get you identical quality for a few $100s less. Cutting out the middleman does save you money at this price point. Not as much as you would think, but there is a saving to be had. Couple of examples of the competition. The 42mm costs a little bit under 2,000 Swiss francs. A 42mm Formex Reef is 1,760 Swiss francs. A Christopher Ward Sapphire Edge C60 is going to set you back about 1,300 Swiss francs. Inferior movement, but the rest is pretty comparable. A Yema Superman Date with an in-house movement, CMM 1.0, 2.0, is going to cost you 1,890 Swiss. So like I said, those direct-to-consumer brands are going to be a little bit cheaper. When you transition to more, let's call them established brands who have a more significant retail model, the picture is different. An Oris Aquis will set you back 2,400, a Rado Captain Cook will set you back 2,500. There, the Longines represents really good relative value. The Seiko SLA 079 is priced at around 2,000 Swiss as well. Now, my thoughts, not likes or dislikes, just thoughts. First one, I stand by my assessment that the numerals on the dial had to go. But it does make for a more, let's call it, boring black diver. I've spoken about shadow brands, I've spoken about shadow watches, watches that are so dominant in their space that all other watches are invariably compared to them. In the dive watch space, it's the Submariner. And obviously it's not a direct competitor because it's at a much higher price point. But I imagine some people will say that by removing the numerals, they take what made the Hydroconquest, more unique-ish. They've made something much more generic, much more bland, much more broadly appealing, and much more Submariner-esque. I put my money, though, on this design doing better than the old design, regardless. Longines are in the business of selling lots of watches to a lot of people, so this is the right decision as I see it. Second thought, it must be really hard being Longines. This watch illustrates the challenge that they have. At their own price point, there are a ton of interchangeable Swiss brands and Asian brands like Seiko that also offer basically the same product. Right below them, you have this almost infinite sea of independents and direct-to-consumer brands. They can offer a very similar quality, a very similar feature set for a couple of $100s less. And Longines also isn't Rolex. There aren't a lot of people that, with Rolex, just walk into an AD and say, I just have to have this Longines, nothing else comes close. Longines don't have that kind of aspirational power. My guess is also that their margins often are razor thin because of the competition. They don't have brand power to charge a premium. You've got competition that offers same quality or similar quality at the same or lower price. That means they have to be really efficient, and having too much stuff gathering dust on the shelves is going to hurt them. Third, this is the most you have to pay for a dive watch. You don't have to choose Longines if you don't want to. You can choose a Yema or a Formex or a Monta or an Oris. Some of you will like one of those brands, some of you will like some others, but they've all got a watch in the ballpark price and in the ballpark quality and ballpark feature range. On average, there's nothing you're not getting at this price point in terms of quality too. You don't get the brand power of IWC or Breitling or Omega or, of course, Big Daddy Rolex, but odds are, if you're in this space, that kind of thing doesn't matter to you. And I know I repeat myself a little bit on this, but there are differences to the Submariner, but the gap is so small, and it's not $8,000 better in production quality. And that's the key. For $2,000, you get 97, 98, 96% of a high-end watch, at least on the externals. What's not to like about this price point? So you're left with one key question. Does the Hydroconquest compete? It's sized in the Goldilocks range. It has the features most people want. And to me, the deal sealer is that the numerals have been removed from the dial. This is now an inoffensive, boring, broadly appealing desk/tool diver. There's very little quirk to this watch, and that's a good thing. Some nerds might say it looks too much like a Rolex Submariner now. The guy I spoke to at Longines even said it was the first thing he thought when he saw it the first time. But this watch is a better option than the Hydroconquest that came before. It competes. That's all Longines and any watchmaker can do. Make a watch that competes. Those were my thoughts. Like, subscribe. Cheers. I'm going to have one more of these. Oh, shitting is totally worth it. Should have done it more often. Wonder what kind of chocolates Tudor make. You're going to have to find out. Cheers.